It's not a secret that Rafael Nadal is best known as a fighter or a Spanish bull. He is the classic tennis warrior, the ultimate defender who says, "I'll fight you to the last breath." When he first came to the public's attention in 2005, it was because of his fighting skills and his ability to beat seemingly impossible odds. No matter how Rafael Nadal's tennis career ends, he will always be remembered as one of the sport's most famous stars. These are the 5 best things Rafael Nadal has done so far. First, Miami Masters 2004 and French Open 2005. When they first played each other in 2004 in Miami, Nadal beat Federer in straight sets. Back then, the Spaniard was unknown, while Federer had already won 2 Grand Slams, so the result sent shockwaves through men's tennis. It also started one of the best rivalries in the history of sports. At the moment, Nadal has a 24-16 head-to-head advantage over Federer. The next year, Nadal won his first Grand Slam at Roland Garros. After winning the Monte Carlo Masters and the Rome Masters, he had a lot of confidence going into the tournament. He shot up to number 5 in the world rankings as a result, and then he wreaked havoc at the French Open. On his 19th birthday, he beat Federer easily in the semifinals. Then 2 days later, he beat Mariano Puerta in the final. Nadal won 24 singles matches in a row, breaking Andre Agassi's record from the Open era. He also moved up to number 3 in the world rankings, which was his best ever. French Open 2012 and Beijing Olympics 2008. When Nadal went to Paris in 2012, he hoped to win the record-setting 7th French Open. He lost only 30 games to his first 5 opponents, which made it easy for him to get to the semifinals. In the semifinals, he beat Roger Federer, setting up a final match with Novak Djokovic. Nadal won the first 2 sets, but the Serbian star came back and won the 3rd set with a score of 6-2. When it started to rain, Djokovic was up 2-1 in the 4th set and had won 8 of the last 9 games. It was finally moved to Monday, and Nadal won with a score of 6-4, 6-3, 2-6, 7-5. This was his 7th coup de mousquetaire, which broke Bjorn Borg's record. At the Olympic Games in Beijing, Nadal won a gold medal for Spain. It happened right after he became world number 1 for the first time, ending Roger Federer's 4.5-year run at the top. He beat Djokovic to play Fernando Gonzalez in the final, which he won 6-3, 7-6, 6-3. Moving on, US Open 2010 and Australian Open 2009. When Nadal won his first US Open title in 2010, he completed the Grand Slam. He didn't lose a single set on the way to the final. He played Djokovic again in the final, and Nadal beat him in 4 sets. It was the end of one of the best years ever for a tennis player, in which Nadal won 3 of the 4 slams. He was also only the 2nd player in history to win all 4 Grand Slams and the Olympic gold medal. In 2009, Nadal won his first Grand Slam tournament on a hard court. The best part was when he played Fernando Verdasco, another Spaniard, in the semifinals. This was Verdasco at his best, and he tore Nadal apart for a lot of the match. However, Nadal kept the match close with a number of amazing defensive shots. After 5 hours and 14 minutes on the court, he won the match with a score of 6-7, 6-4, 7-6, 6-7, 6-4 against his Davis Cup teammate. It was the longest singles match in the history of the Australian Open, and Nadal should have been exhausted by the time he played Federer in the final. But his amazing athleticism shone through again, and in another epic 5-set match, he beat the Swiss master 7-5, 3-6, 7-6, 3-6, 6-2. Next up, French Open 2019 and Rome Final 2006. Last year, when he beat the talented Dominic Thiem, the great man won an amazing 12th French Open title. It put him ahead of Margaret Court's record and made him the most dominant player in the history of a single Grand Slam. He is a popular pick at Roland Garros because he has an incredible record there, 93 wins and only 2 losses in his French Open career. This year, the tournament will take place from September 20th to October 4th, right after the US Open. Nadal is the heavy favorite to win a 13th title, and he has already won 11 of the last 12 tournaments. In tennis, Rome 2006 was another one of those days, but one that had already happened 3 years earlier. Of course, this was back when his backhand wasn't all that great, and he liked to be passive and hide behind the baseline. The Rome final of 2006, on the other hand, would be just as interesting. Nadal was playing Roger Federer, who was the undisputed world number 1 at the time. He was trying to dethrone the King of Clay 1 match at a time at his Terre de Batu fortresses. It was a great start, as the Swiss won the first set by scoring 7 straight points in the tiebreak by hitting ridiculous winners. Nadal then began to grind away at the Swiss machine's shine, and he won the next 2 sets. Then the storm started. Federer came back in the 4th and 5th games and won 10 of the next 13 games to go up 4-1 in the 2nd set. The Warrior Epic, on the other hand, didn't really start until Nadal fought back, despite Federer's attacks and 2 match points at 5-6, so they could play a 5th set tiebreak. Even with all of his experience, Federer was up by small breaks in that last set. Nadal would win the match when Federer made a mistake, but it showed how much Nadal had destroyed Federer's mind that day by beating forces that seemed unstoppable and turning them into mistakes. With scores of 6-7, 7-6, 6-4, 2-6, 7-6, Nadal was at his best. We now move on on to US Open 2017 and US Open 2019. At the beginning of 2017, Nadal was seen as a player who was done. He hadn't won a Grand Slam in 3 years, and it looked like injuries were going to end his career too soon. But he came back to life when he won the Roland Garros tournament that same year. His loss in the last 16 at Wimbledon hurt, but he flew to New York with a new sense of confidence. Few people really thought he would win, but Nadal turned back the clock, destroyed his opponents, and beat Kevin Anderson in the final. For the first time in years, Nadal went back to the top of the world rankings. Suddenly, Federer's record was within reach. Nadal's crowning achievement was winning his 4th U.S. Open at the age of 33. 12 of his 19 Grand Slams have come at Roland Garros, but his string of wins at Flushing Meadows means that he is no longer just a clay court specialist. He only lost one set on his way to the final, where he beat the much younger Daniil Medvedev in a 5-set classic. He dug deep and showed his usual determination and never-say-die attitude to get the job done. He is very close to becoming the most decorated player in the history of men's tennis, and he has more than enough talent to take the record. Finally, London 2010 and Wimbledon 2008 final. This is Nadal's most recent win in a long list of victories. It was a 3-set battle royale against Andy Murray of Scotland, who has been known for a long time as Nadal's worst enemy on hard courts. They had played in Australia and later that year in Montreal, but Murray won both times. This time, though, being too good wasn't enough. Nadal held serve by serve and won the first set in a tight tiebreak. Murray would come roaring back, breaking twice with crushing backhands to tie the match by winning the second. While he fought back bravely on his own in the third set, coming back from a break against Nadal, the great pressure builder, to force a tiebreaker in the last set. It was a good semifinal match with a nail-biting finish, but Nadal was too strong and good at the most important times. With a scintillating off forehand, the match was over at 8-6 in the tiebreak. He had won 7-6, 3-6, 7-6. When he played Roger Federer at Wimbledon for the third time in a row, he was trying to make history for the third time in a row. But no one, not even a seasoned non-tennis fan, would need to be told about the details of the match that night. It was the most magical night that could happen in this sport. Fans and people in general had been waiting for this moment for a long time. In some ways, the fact that Nadal won 6-4, 6-4, 6-7, 6-7, 9-7 didn't matter. However, the fact that he did so against Federer at Wimbledon only solidifies his position as possibly the best tennis fighter who has ever lived. He got close to beating the 5-time champion in the first 2 sets, but then he was hit with a barrage in the 3rd and 4th sets. On that day, Nadal was Mr. Unbeatable and the best warrior in the world at the same time. Nothing the rest of the world did could stop him. That's it for today, guys. Comment below which of the mentioned moments you believe was the most iconic. Till next time, cheers.